Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, January 13th of 2019. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Sustainable environment and a peaceful world, it really is indicative of where the inner meets the outer, where the inner reality meets the outer reality, the inner reality that yearns for peace and love and safety and protection and connection and all of these beautiful things that we long for at the depths of our heart in this world where everything seems material and dense and separate and individuated, that, creates, honestly, that perception of separation and intensifies the yearning and the longing to reconnect, to return to our truths of who we are as beings of light, as one with all that is. And, in this place of seeming disharmony, where we yearn for harmony, in this place of seeming either or, like it's either this or that, or I have to survive above this surviving, or that has to survive above that surviving, where there's not room for all. It's to release the veils of separation between the ethers and the ors so that we can come to recognize the unity and the oneness of the divine reality, which is the truth of our existence at the very depths of our beings at our core. So today our topic along those lines is to be in the world, not of the world. This is a teaching, a phrase that I have found very helpful in the time of my traveling on the spiritual journey, which the whole of life, the whole is traveling on a spiritual journey, even when you don't know it. But I guess to the awakening of the traveling on the spiritual journey, this has been a phrase that my teacher, Sheikh Muhammad Jamal from Jerusalem, has used often. Be in the world, not of the world. And it, when you think about it and reflect on it, it has a simple meaning, yet it's really far-reaching. And I'll tell you about how this came about for this week. Every morning I wake up, God willing, and do a morning meditation in the wee hours. And it's a very powerful time to do morning meditation. So, I highly recommend. It's one of the things I think too many people, I don't know. Well, I hear a lot of people talk about it, so I refrain. But to have an early morning practice is really powerful, and it's key to setting the tone for your day. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend having one. And any of these meditations that we do on this prayer and healing circle make a really nice morning practice. I actually have a 17-minute just simple meditation that I could share with you also. If you're interested in that, shoot me an email or a Facebook message, or post it in the Facebook group or something, and I'll be happy to share that with you. Okay, that said, having this morning practice is really important. It's where a lot of the awarenesses, the openings, the downloads, those kind of things come through. And I was doing a morning meditation, and, I was feeling this part of myself inside my body that felt like it was off on its own on this little island, an island inside of myself where it had created this great barrier and was not integrated into the rest of my body, and like it couldn't really connect with my heart. And so I was sitting with that and just being present with it and kind of asking, what is this about? And, why does this feel this way? Why is it separate? And I got this word, one of those icky words. It was about obedience. And I was like, well, wait a minute now. Didn't we scrap that word from our marriage vows? And, that's one of those kind of like victimhood and, all those things that we don't like to talk about when, when we're real spiritual people. And so, like, oh no, obedience. What's about obedience? And what I was really seeing is my resistance to obedience in reference to all of the ways in the world where I have felt like I needed to be obedient to something or someone that didn't feel good. It didn't feel like it honored my ability to be true to myself because of the have tos and the shoulds and the supposed tos and the musts because of, the tribal consciousness. I'm from a large family. I'm the youngest of 6 children. And that's one of those things that has, as much as I like to say our life experiences do not define us, that is one that has been a struggle for me in terms of not allowing myself to be defined by the experiences and the positioning in the world. But being the youngest of 6 children in a very strong family, I have 4 older sisters who are very strong personalities. And, I grew up as their little sister, and there's a lot of obedience that I have held on to in terms of how I have to be in the pecking order with the family, how I have to march in step with the expectations of the family, how I can't step outside of this line that's been defined by our tribe. Because if we step outside of that tribal boundary, and this is actually something in the DNA for a lot of people, if you step outside of that tribal boundary, you might be ousted from the tribe forever. And then what happens? You could die. You could die out there without your tribe, and that's something that's really strong in human nature for, I believe, the majority of human beings, that we have that innate compulsion inside of ourselves where we have to stay within the agreed upon rules of the tribe that we have been born into, or we could become unsafe and we could die. We could lose our lives. So it's a part of our survival instinct. So this whole thing about obedience. And it was like, who are you being obedient to? Where's this person who is unhappy, this island here inside of yourself that has walled itself off and protected itself? It's because it doesn't want to be obedient. But if it's obedient, it might die. So it has to go into a hibernation, into a cocoon. And so there was this so where is your obedience? Who is it that you're being obedient to? Who is it that you're resisting being obedient to? Where's your loyalty? Who are you being loyal to by cocooning yourself? And where does your true loyalty yearn to be? And where is your reliance? Who are you being dependent on? What's your perspective? What perspective are you holding on to? So this is really one of those, big breath. And I ask you the question, can you relate to this at all? Take a deep breath, and we'll go ahead and go into our prayer and healing circle and begin our meditation. And, I invite you to reflect on where are places in your life, and if you can, with absolute loving kindness for yourself and acceptance, non-judgment, if at all possible, and it is possible, but just to look at, where are some places that might be brought to your awareness today where you are being loyal or obedient to something other than your true self, or where you are walling yourself off and hibernating, cocooning within yourself so as not to have to go against that which you don't want to be obedient to, which is a part of the world, as opposed to your deepest inner self, your true self, your divinity, divine essence inside at the depths of your being. So let's come into our prayer and healing circle. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, coming together side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee. And let's come together and bring our hearts to face toward the center of the circle. And let's take a full and gentle breath together. And together from our hearts, calling on our source, in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Together we call on that essence of divine light, Ya Noor. And call on this essence of light and just imagine, envision, perceive in whatever way you do this stream of pure light streaming into the center of our circle, pouring into the center of our circle where our hearts come together as one, streaming this essence of this pure divine light into your heart center. And with your breath, breathe this in as if your heart center is a funnel of energy that extends from the front of your chest, your heart space. And breathe in. Let this funnel be like a mouthpiece, and breathe that in right through this funnel. Breathe this into the center of your heart, breathing in this essence of this pure divine light, letting this fill your entire heart space, filling your lungs, filling your heart, infusing into your oxygen, infusing into your fluids, as your blood that circulates throughout all of your body, delivering oxygen and nourishment to every cell. Let this divine light, this pure divine light, be the nourishment that floods into your body, that infuses into your oxygen and your blood, that is delivered to every cell of your body to bring this nourishment of this pure divine light. Breathe this in, and as you exhale, relax, release, and let your heart space become soft. Let this become soft, and let yourself receive and be infused with this pure essence of this pure divine light. And bringing our hearts together as we call on our source, we call on that essence of unconditional love, love without conditions. And imagine as this vibration of this pure divine love joins that vibration of pure divine light and streams into the center of our circle, into the place where our hearts come together as one, and let yourself breathe this essence into your heart space, breathing in this pure vibration of unconditional love, the love that is the existence of the divine, that breathes your every breath, that beats your every heartbeat, that is the essence of all of existence, unconditional love, the love that exists regardless of anything that we do or don't do, say or don't say, be or don't be, have or don't have. It is the existence of love, not based in conditions, the conditions that we place upon ourselves and our ability to give and receive love, but this is the existence of love that encompasses all. And breathe this existence, this essence of this pure existence into your heart space. Let it wash your heart. The poet Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers that you have built against it. So let this essence of this pure divine light and pure divine love stream into your heart space, like the waves of the ocean rolling onto the shore, and let them wash all of the barriers and the blocks that you have built against love, all of the conditionals. Let the unconditional wash the conditions. Purify your heart so that your heart becomes the pure existence of unconditional love. And as we bring our hearts together, calling on that essence of divine compassion, the eternal compassion, the compassion that exists before us and that exists after us and exists during us and all around us. It's the all-encompassing existence of compassion that exists regardless of time or space. It is the ocean we swim in, this pure divine light, this pure unconditional love, this pure eternal compassion. Regardless of our conditions, regardless of our time and space reality, it is the essence. It is the essence that is the ocean that we exist in, that we subsist in, that we swim in, live in, breathe in, and it is what gives us this existence, what creates the reality of the existence that we are a part of, the world that we are in and the world that we are of, whether we want to be or not. So again, breathe in this essence of this pure divine light, this unconditional love, the eternal compassion, breathing this into your heart space, letting it infuse into all of your oxygen and your fluids, and breathe this all the way into the depths of the core of your heart, taking each breath deeper, deeper into your heart center. And let yourself lean all the way back toward your spine, like resting into your spine. And feel yourself being showered with this essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion as you rest into your vertical core energy. And allow yourself to be showered gently, lovingly, with the perfect temperature of this pure light, love, and compassion as it fills all of your heart space and it circulates throughout the core of your body and to every cell of every fiber of your being, delivering this nourishment of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Let's just take a minute and invite every cell of your body to turn to face this pure essence as it's being delivered, and to face it, to open, to receive it, to say yes, yes to divine light, yes to unconditional love, yes to eternal compassion, receiving, allowing it to come in and infuse, receiving and accepting it into every fiber of your being, and saying yes. And I invite your conscious body to drop into your physical space, to be fully present and grounded in your physical form, in your physical body, taking a seat into your physical seat, feeling your presence through your hips, through your legs, your knees, your calves, your shins, your ankles, your feet, your toes, and feeling your presence connected with the earth, the ground beneath you, the earth beneath you. You are fully in this world. So what does this mean to be in this world and not of this world? I invite you to continue to breathe in this essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Continue to breathe this. Allow it to be washing and cleansing you as I continue to talk through this. and guide us into the next part of our meditation. To be in the world and not of the world. We are spiritual beings in physical form. And sometimes in our spiritual mentality, if that is such a thing, the mentality of spirituality, we want to tell ourselves that to be spiritual means that we denounce the world and deny the world in some way. To be in the world and not of the world does not mean to deny the humanity or to denounce the world necessarily. Because we are integrated as spiritual beings into these physical bodies, and the physicality of this world is very important to our journey. It's very important to what we're here for and what we're doing on this journey, the whole reason that we've come here with free will. Our experiences here that we experience through the material, the dense realities, and through our humanity, all of it, our feelings, our thoughts, our perceptions, our innate reactions, of our nervous system, of our gut instinct, of all of these things that we experience as we are present in our physical bodies, all of this comes together to give us information about what we need to learn our soul lessons. And it is through our human experience, not in spite of, but it is through our human experience that we learn about the wisdom of our source. It is through our experiences and our relationship to this creation that we truly come to know what our source is giving us here and what we're here to learn. We just need to keep in perspective our bodies, our earth experiences. This is where the breath of spirit meets wisdom of earth, the wisdom of the creation. As human beings, we are given, one of the things that we are given is the desire to be king. A couple weeks ago, I talked about the 3 things that we have that turn us, that God gives us, puts into the human being to take us out of this pure reality of, this divine essence that we are very much a part of. But in order to exercise free will, we can't stay in that beautiful state all the time, right? We have to come here, because who would care about free will when you're immersed in bliss? But we have to, so God has to give us something to turn us away from that so that we can become rooted in this earth experience. So we're given the need to eat and to defecate. We're given the desire to make love and to procreate. And we're given the desire to be king, the desire for independence, for autonomy, the need to be right, to be valued, to be respected, to be known. And this is a part of what we are given, and it's an important part for this journey. We have to have this. So it's not bad. But we need to keep it in perspective, because this naturally, it's the double-edged sword, as so many things are in this world of dichotomy and multiplicity. That which we are given to know ourselves and to know God through knowing ourselves is what first takes us into separation. And from the separation, we can come back to know the unity. So in our desire for independence, autonomy, value, respect, our need to be right, because we want to do right? We want to do right. We want to be right. That comes from a pure place, but then we get competitive with it sometimes because there is conflict in this world, and that's part of the world. But this naturally causes us to take on responsibilities that are for things that are way beyond our control. Especially if someone has harmed you, you can be in self-blame, you can be in blame of others. It creates separation. think about a child. I saw a meme on Facebook the other day that was just, one of those. It was so right on and heartbreaking at the same time. It says, when a parent abuses a child, the child does not love the parent less, the child loves himself less. And so, in all of the places in our human journey where we get hurt, we have a tendency we separate ourselves from the other, and this is natural and it's meant to be. And we also take on an element of self-blame, of self-shaming, of just responsibilities for things that are not within our control, which are the responsibilities of the things that other people do. If we're in, a home, grow up in a home when their parents fight or the parents get divorced, it is so natural for the child to look at, gee, what did I do wrong to create this? How is this my fault? Right? And it's just a part of what we do. So we take on all kinds of pictures and beliefs and strategies and stories that make the world about us, in and I'm not saying this in a shaming way, but just in a human egocentric way. We make things about ourselves that are not about us. We also have that need for survival. We're hardwired for survival and for safety, and that skews our sense of loyalty. Like I was talking about the tribe earlier, it's like being a part of the tribe. I need to survive. I need safety. I need sustenance. I need provision. I need, shelter. I need all of these things, and I've got to stay a part of this tribe in order to stay safe and to have provision. And if I pull away from the tribe because there's something in this tribe that really feels not right to me, I'm going against my need for survival. And so that again creates a conflict, right? And it's that need for preservation of the human being that will sometimes deny our own yearnings and knowings from the inner sacred self. And this is all natural. It's a part of the design. It's a part of what takes us out on our hero's journey or our heroine's journey to first perceive ourselves as separate and to learn what we need to learn for the evolution of our soul. And through these experiences, not in spite of, but through these experiences, come to know the reality of the divine essence within, the unity that is all encompassing of this human experience, of this experience of the multiplicity. It's, as I say, where the rose and the thorn are one. So that's that other phrase that I find very helpful in the teachings of the Sufi teachings from my teacher. This life is from you, and it is for you, but it is not about you. Another perspective. So there are two qualities, two attributes of the divine that are really helpful that we're going to look at today in helping us to clean the veils in our hearts that keep our loyalty skewed and our obedience skewed, so that we can come to know that greater wisdom, the divine wisdom, through our human experiences, so that our human experiences in the world become a pathway to proximity with Source. These qualities help us to understand how our intellectual reflective knowledge combines with divine wisdom, so that the individuation can help us to know the unity. The two qualities are al-alim, which is the all-knowing, and al-hakim, which is the wise. And I'll spell those. Alim, al means the, excuse me, al just is the pronoun that means the. Al-alim, which is A-L-I-M, M as in Mary, A-L-I-M, and it's got like a glottal stop before the A, like alim, al-alim, and it is the all-knowing, the omniscient, the absolute owner of wisdom. And then al-hakim, which is H-A-K as in king, I-M as in Mary, al-hakim, H-A-K-I-M, is the all-wise, the all-wise. So I'm going to read about each one of these, and then we'll do a recitation with them. And again, just a reminder to breathe. If you want to start breathing these qualities in and out of your heart space, that's fine. The all-knowing and the all-wise. Calling on those as you call on that essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Continue breathing that in and out through your heart space. And I'm going to read from Fauzia's book, which is from Rosina Fauzia Al-Rawi. Divine Names, the 99 Healing Names of the One Love is the name of the book. Rosina Fauzia Al-Rawi is the author. And from the quality of Al-Alim, this name symbolizes God's omniscience and absolute knowledge since time immemorial. Al-Alim knows the secrets that lie in the heart and that which is expressed through the tongue. It knows the visible and the invisible. If you repeat this divine name 100 times after prayer, your eye will see things previously unnoticed. This is the opening of the third eye, also known as the mystical eye. If you develop the habit of repeating this name 150 times every day, your comprehension as well as your understanding of everything around you will widen. Do not let the beauty of the veils bewitch you. The veils are those things that are between us, our humanity, and the sacred reality, the divine self, the divine essence within the self and within all of creation. Act as honestly and truthfully in secret as in public. In other words, do not act differently when you are in company or alone. Lift the veil between the inner and outer world. The whole existence is eternally present in Al-Alim's knowledge. Human knowledge is born of the things that exist, and existence itself is born of Allah's infinite knowledge. What is the life of the human being compared to the infinite future and infinite past? It is the mere twinkling of an eye. What can we see? Happy is the one who sees that he cannot see. I'm going to skip to the end of this chapter here, and then we'll do a recitation with the Al-Alim. I know it's hard to skip some of this because it's all so good. I love this. It says the human dignity is based on knowledge and understanding, yet the mind needs the quality of humility in order to acknowledge its limitations and open to the necessity of faith. A scientist's first sip of knowledge turns him into an atheist, yet it is always God who awaits him at the bottom of the glass. Our heart is connected with the heart of the world. We protect the mysteries of the universe in our heart. Time and time again, through the rising and falling, breathing movements of the world, we are granted access to the different secrets, to diverse, renewed forms of knowledge. and now skipping to the end, deepening our vision and opening it to the miracles of the universe helps us to reach a deeper understanding of our true self. Experience leads to understanding, insight, and knowledge. Insight and knowledge have their roots in the divine and are the means to reach him, to reach the one. In Sufism, human beings are seen as the perfect image of the universe. Whatever exists in the universe exists in us too. To learn to read into nature, into the universe, but also into ourselves, to discern the signs and symbols makes us understand that everything around us is the reflection, on a lower level, of a reality of a higher order. Everything around us is a reflection of the divine higher order and within us. We realize through this experience that everything that lives is holy. So it is through our experiences, not in spite of our experiences. The core of Sufism is to allow us human beings to discover the divine that we carry in our hearts and take us to that which is sacred, thus transforming the world of manifestations into a place filled with the living experience of the divine. See the world is contained wholly in you. Holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, wholly in you. For the world is a human being, and the human being is a world. That's a quote from Shabastari. So, Al-Alim. Let's do this 150 times, and then we'll go to Al-Hakim. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Ya Allah, Al-Alim. 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 And let this vibration just resonate in your chest, in your heart space. Al-Alim. And actually, let this just resonate throughout your core, all the way into your solar plexus as well. Al-Alim. 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 Let Al-Alim fall into you with your breathing, all the way down to your solar plexus, the level of your first higher consciousness, and let it flow from there into your heart and into your mind. Let it awaken you to a different quality of knowledge. Al-Alim. 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 Al-Alim, 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 Al-Alim. The all wise. And breathe that in. Let it fall into you with your breath. All the way down to your solar plexus, all the way up to your heart and up to your mind. Resonating and flowing throughout the core of your body, of your being. And I'm going to read from Al-Hakim, the wise, the all-wise. Wise people are those who deal with things in an appropriate manner. Their words and deeds are in harmony, uninfluenced by current trends or fashion, free from their own impulses and moods. This divine name manifests the knowledge of true and authentic deeds. This is the being in the world. This is the interacting with the world with the divine wisdom. Al-Hakim is the source of all wisdom. Wisdom means to bring about unity in our spirit, unity and love for the one, Allah, and love for all of humankind. It means the capacity to take on all the roles that life demands for us. Friend, daughter, son, mother, father, neighbor, teacher, servant. To be wise means to carry love and unity in our heart and spirit, to speak to all human beings in their language, to be able to carry all our duties and functions while remaining connected to the truth inside. This is bringing the inner and the outer together. In the Quran, Al-Hakim appears 48 times with Al-Aziz, which is the strength. It occurs 39 times with Al-Alim, which is what we just did, the all-knowing. The Al-Alim, Al-Hakim pair shows intellectual, reflective knowledge combined with divine wisdom. It is wisdom expressed in everyday life, in our daily acts, in our behavior. Wisdom is an act of beauty, an act of sensitivity. It is the truth that brings about peace, comfort, and harmony. Wisdom is to cultivate sensitivity in our thoughts, words, and deeds on the dual level of perception and expression. Wisdom means to liberate our consciousness from the clutches of negativity and ill humor. As human children, we are born with free will in a universe that follows God's laws. Our free will wants to fulfill our wishes and follow our moods. Yet life's constellations, influences, and circumstances keep confronting this will, testing it time and time again. The task imparted to our soul on this earth is to elevate ourselves over the opposing influences, to walk through them, to cast one illusion, one disappointment aside one after another. So to cast them aside one after another, moving through them, then every justice and every injustice will finally flow into unity and be complete. Sufism attaches great importance to smiling because a smile widens and softens the heart. Smiling expresses the connection with the soul. It is an act of will and an act of the spirit to want to look at the light side of life. It is to decide to walk the path of love. It is the path of the heart that knows that Allah, God the One, stands behind all outer manifestations in His perfection and fairness. To smile means to focus our attention on our heart and the heart of others, because we are friendly. When we are friendly and subtle, we always end up charming hearts. This does not mean that we should not be clear and sharp in some situations. It simply means that we should always act according to what we see as being best. It means always making an inner decision in favor of the light. So Al-Hakim, may this name show you the mysteries of the divine purpose behind the creation, and may your behavior and your deeds embed you into the reverberations of this knowledge, the knowledge of the divine purpose behind the creation. May this name give you strength when you feel that despite all your efforts you can find no solution or success. May it open up new spaces for you. Wisdom belongs to those who are embedded in the inner and outer laws of existence. It comprises the unconscious as well as the acquired knowledge and strives for balance amid the confusion of the marketplace of the world. People who carry this quality can show the right path in times of doubt, indecision, and confusion, and fill hearts with renewed hope. So the sacred number for this one is 78. We will say Al-Hakim 78 times. And I'll just say, if you want to practice for the week, you can try Al-Alim 150 times, followed by Al-Hakim 78 times. Everyday life is a precious place for us to practice wisdom. So Al-Hakim, and if you have things on your heart and in your life that seem to be in conflict and unresolvable, and those places where, how could I possibly find God's wisdom in this? How could I possibly know God's divine intention behind this part of the creation? Just offer those as an intention. Hold them in your heart or in your hands, or place them in the center of the circle, and ask for help from the divine to open up new wisdom for you, new perspective, new knowing, to bring together the inner and the outer, to wash the veils that separate your human perspectives from the divine wisdom, the divine knowing. So Al-Hakim, Al-Hakim, and let this flow again into your heart space and flow into your solar plexus and into your mind. Al-Hakim, 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 Al-Hakim. Ya Allah, Al-Alim, Al-Hakim, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Al-Alim, Al-Hakim. Al-Alim, Al-Hakim. Again, let this be breathed into your core, through your heart space, and traveling along your core, all the way from your base through your crown, breathing into your solar plexus, letting it move to your heart and to your mind, but traveling all through the core of your being as you lean back toward your spine, the front of your spine, into your vertical core, and let this stream of this light, this love, this compassion, this all-knowing and the all-wise to resonate and integrate into the fiber of your consciousness, your cellular consciousness, as it washes away from all of the consciousness from every cell of your being, washes away the veils between the inner and the outer, so that you can come to know the existence of the divine and the wisdom of this creation through your consciousness, through your cellular consciousness, knowing through every experience, in every encounter, in every thought, in every act, that you come to know more completely the unity and all-encompassing unconditional love and wisdom that makes up this creation that you live in, that this earth journey and your experiences of a human being on planet Earth bring you to greater proximity with the one, the all-knowing, the all-wise, the truth, the divine essence of this creation, which is the divine essence of your creation, the core of your true being. So breathe that in, let it reverberate throughout every cell of your being. And again, I invite your conscious body to ground completely into your physical space. You can stretch out your toes and your feet, circle your ankles, feel your presence all the way in to the soles of your feet. You can do the same with your hands and your wrists. Circle your wrists and stretch out your hands and your fingers. Feel your presence all the way into your fingertips. Drop into your core. Ground and sit into your physical seat. Take a full and gentle breath. Open your eyes if you're ready. and we're going to open for Q&A. If you're on the phone, you can press *2. If you're on the web, you can type into the web form there any questions, thoughts, comments, anything that you have that you want to ask or to share. And I'll be ending the recording. If you're listening to the recording and you want to join us live, we're live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information on how to join this call at joyfullylivingwellness.com. You can find replays on our podcast, which you can also find at joyfullylivingwellness.com. Podcast is called Self-Care for the Soul. You can also find at that website a download that's there for you. It's called the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. It's a one sheet that you can print out and post it up everywhere where you can see it on a regular basis to remind yourself the truth of the reality of your existence as a human being traveling on planet Earth on this journey for the evolution of your soul. You can have that posted in front of you because there are way too many things in this world. I say too many. There are many things in this world, many more things in this world that reflect for you the separation as opposed to your unity. So we owe it to ourselves, and we can benefit ourselves by putting that reminder of the truth of our existence in as many places as we can so that we'll see it at every turn and remember throughout all of the things that want to bring us into separation that we are truly beings of one light, one love, one truth. All right. And with that, I'm ending the recording. Hope to see you live in the future.